Put him down, boys.
What is that thing on your face?
Yeah, puberty's right around the corner, kid. You can grow your own.
Exclusively in movie theaters.
All right, Mr. Holland. If you just spent the last, 5 years web swinging around like Spider-Man, I expect you to be able to swing over some chandeliers in a fucking auction, bro. Like, seriously. That was pathetic. Nah, but I'm just playing. So he just got back from watching Uncharted. And honestly, it's very different from the game. I was expecting changes, you know. They weren't gonna follow the plot of the movie. There's way too much, and it just would have been just kind of a knockoff, you know. So obviously they had to change something up to make a story for a movie and make it. I don't know how you would make it more interesting than the game, but just make it interesting, I guess. So if you've never played the game, just kind of a recap. In the first game, you meet Elena and you meet Sullivan, which they are the only one that he doesn't know is Elena. So he meets Elena. Elena is kind of like a reporter who wants the scoop on who this Nathan Drake is, who basically just goes around looking for treasure. And she gets caught up in that, and they go treasure hunting. At first he's kind of like, why are you here? But then she's kind of sticking there like the whole time, kind of sticks like gum to him, and he kind of just goes like, all right, just don't die. And so she accompanies him throughout the rest of the video games, and obviously Sully is like his right hand man, the person that he quote unquote trusts. And we have other characters who show up throughout the games, but just to keep it very concise, that's the game. It's him. He goes looking for treasures based on clues, and that's the movie. The movie changes it up a little bit. Obviously, this movie takes place way before the first game. So basically what's going on in this movie is he is kind of a bartender in New York, right? He's just kind of living his life. He's being a street smart thief who kind of steals from people. That's how he makes his money. And so Sully comes up to him and he's like, yo, like, I have a big job coming up. Like, I need your help. The Magallanes family has been looking for this, gold, and they can't find it. So I have clues, and we're going to go look for it. And so they go off on an adventure looking for the gold. Basically, those are the people. Everybody's trying to get the same treasure, and that's the story. So things I did like. I really enjoyed like the set pieces. I thought the action was a lot of fun to watch. I remember reading this quote from Tom Holland, and he's like, this really took out a lot from me, just like physically. And some of the scenes where he gets thrown around like a rag are just hilarious. And you could see how he would be like, yo, like, seriously, dude, like, that hurt. Because some of those falls, sheesh, I wouldn't want to experience that, even in like a closed environment like that. But the set pieces were pretty cool. Obviously the charm of what makes Uncharted is that Nathan Drake and Sullivan have this like dynamic.
Thanks a lot. You almost got me killed.
Clockwise, Sully!
Well, it was 50-50, so I made a guess.
Clearly.
But in this movie, they're barely getting to know each other, so they're a lot more defensive than what we're used to in the games. In the games, obviously, they have years behind their belt and they know each other, but in this one they don't. They have no idea who they are, and they're a lot more reserved with each other. As for Chloe, it wasn't so much that I disliked her character. It just didn't feel as impactful as Elena was throughout the game. Elena became one of the most important parts of Uncharted, like the whole series. And in this movie, it makes us miss her. Chloe doesn't really fit that bar. Obviously, she's a treasure hunter, like Nathan and Sully, but she's kind of there. She's not doing much of what Elena does during the games. Like in the games, Elena is a lot more proactive. She's shooting people. She's kind of solving riddles with them and puzzles and stuff. And in this one, it just feels like she's there. And it wasn't really that much of an emotional attachment to Chloe. In the games, I didn't really have an emotional attachment to her either, to be honest. But at least she kind of was useful, you know. In this one, it falls a little short. I don't know. That's just how I felt about her character. So Braddock and Wakanda are the main antagonists of this movie, I would say. They have this big dynamic over where Moncada is kind of like this like family, like daddy's boy, you know? And that dynamic is a little weird because it kind of makes you feel like he's a little less of a kingpin and more of like, I want the gold, right? She's kind of serves as like the right-hand man for him. So in the games, there's always someone following him. It's never like the main enemy. It's always like they're grunts. And those are the ones that you're always fighting. And that's what she feels like. And I think she does an applicable job kind of filling in that role of like the leader of the grunts and kind of chasing him around, playing cat and mouse with Nathan Drake. I think she does a good job. I think they do a good job. There's a lot of plot points, as I stated before, that kind of make the movie not feel as rewarding as one would have liked, especially me coming back from playing the games. I haven't played them in a few years, but I just know that they have a mark, you know, because they were one of the games that kind of really got me into single player games and kind of making a video game feel like a movie was a lot of fun. But I do want to make this point though. I think it's a little too early to introduce the brother. I did enjoy that we have the mission where the two brothers that are young are kind of going inside one of the houses and talking about their parents, and we know that they split up. But I just think it's a little too early for that. Let me know what you think about that, but that's how I personally felt. I didn't like that one of the biggest parts that made the fourth game is introduced into a movie that is just barely getting started, if that makes sense. But that's just an nitpick because I played the game. If you've never played the game, then it probably won't bother you, but it bothered me a little bit. But that's just personal. Other than that, I probably wouldn't watch it again. But thank you so much for your time. If you decide to go watch it, please let me know. And if you like it or dislike it, drop it down. But as for now, catch you later. Peace.